some point we got to come up with a concept of what we're talking about, right? Otherwise, we're just kind of just sitting here.
Okay. Well, so, what did we do today?
So we started doing some stuff that involves extracting that you have to do once the honey flow is over.
And we did kind of, I don't know, it wasn't the easiest, but the crushing's pretty easy.
Crushing is easy and it's cheap.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's what I do at home.
Is that all you do?
Yeah, I scrape it off into a colander that's over a bowl. So I don't even have the fancy paint cloth stuff. And mash it and keep the cats out of it. And then after a day or so, there's honey in the bottom of the bowl.
It's like magic.
Yeah. Getting into a jar is a little trickier, but if you're only doing a few jars, there's no investment. It works pretty well.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And you've got like 90 hives, and that's what you use?
Because having 90 hives doesn't mean I have 90 gallons of honey.
Right.
My honey for the year is usually 1 or 2 gallons that maybe I get in September after the dearth, and there's some left over, and it's before I start feeding them in the fall.
Right. So, but an amateur, or beginning, what I should say, hobbyist beekeeper can probably do this perpetually.
Yes. Meaning that they can do it every year without buying equipment?
Yeah, and I mean, and
that's what you meant by perpetual.
Yeah, I mean, you would never have to really invest in, extractors are expensive.
So what would a more sophisticated hobbyist do?
Well, I guess there's kind of a transition I guess you can go through. So the first thing, you know, crush and strain is simple and easy and no investment. So why not do that for the first few years? And then, you know, joining a bee club, you get access to a extractor.
So you don't have to buy one.
You don't have to buy one, but there is the aggravation of going to get it and, you know, lining it up, and somebody else might need it the same week you need it, and so there's some of that.
And you have to clean it before you give it back.
You definitely had to clean it, but I think that is required for all of your honey equipment. Yeah. But then I guess the next thing, you know, a lot of and it's what I did was buy actually I didn't buy it, I was given to it as a gift, but a 2-frame, maybe it was a 4-frame, I don't know, a little small tangential, is that the right word?
I don't know what the right word is.
It's not a radial extractor, and you got to flip the frames every time. Yeah. and it works, and you know, you can get a hand crank one and that works, but you can get tired cranking it, and you can get a motorized one.
So I didn't buy the hand crank extractor, but back in the 90s, my neighbor got some bees, and he got an extractor, but he didn't stick with it. So now that extractor's on my porch.
Right.
And I've used it a couple of times, and it's hand cranked, and I thought if I had a lot of honey, I would never hand crank it.
Yeah.
It's fine to do a dozen frames that way, but that would be about my limit.
Yeah. Yeah. So the next step is getting a small one that's motorized, and I don't know, my experience was that as I started getting more hives, that flipping them back and forth, to be honest, extracting honey was probably my least favorite thing. It was what was probably stopping me from wanting to get more hives. Right. And that doesn't make any sense. I mean, I wanted more bees, but they kept making honey, and it was a pain.